Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you. As always, joined by the guys. It's going to be a fun show. Bill's still live. Final four in the AFC.
Looking forward to it. But I have one quick question. What happened to the NFC East? It's totally fallen like a rock over the last few years or so,
and the
including
only guy,
my Giants.
Well, the only guy that got rehired, right?
Unbelievable.
Well, figures, that we're getting ahead of ourselves. With Dallas and Philadelphia, he may be the only coach to get another year.
I have no idea what's going on in this division, but I'm happy we're going to keep our coach for now for it.
And the man I know wants to tell it himself, so I'm going to steal it from him, is now leading the picks race. Pat Duffy.
Well, I'm glad you said it because I would have sounded arrogant to say again that I told you so this entire season.
And you did.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know.
To be fair, you did. All right. The thing I'm taking away from the Pittsburgh game is that, and I have to look at this play 3 times because I wanted to make sure that when Josh Allen took off on his 52-yard run, that he didn't fake a slide.
No.
And he didn't. He stayed upright because I thought, man, if he did, he is a marked man.
And I'm glad the national audience got the chance to see what Bills fans see. I see it a lot watching Bills fans game. That was an unbelievable Madden. You don't do that in a live game play. And you know how Josh has often been posterized for the jump over, the leap over players. That is something he did, a stutter step in basically snowy conditions and went right around a Pittsburgh defense. For some strange reason, could not. I don't even know if they touched him, but they couldn't tackle at all in that game. And Josh Allen was the proof they couldn't tackle him, even if they had good conditions.
If you go back and watch that play, I mean, the jukes that he has for a man of his size are ridiculous. You can see that over and over again. We know that he's powerful. What doesn't make scientific sense to me is after he's run 40 yards already, he's at about the 20-yard line, the 15-yard line.
Yeah.
He pulls away from 2 defensive backs that run 4-3 40-yard dashes. They're all in full sprints. And somehow they're losing ground to him. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. I was not good in science, but I know that doesn't make any physiological sense at all.
You were at the game. What were the conditions like?
It wasn't, actually, I didn't go to the game. My daughter had a hockey tournament, and the game got moved, and the person I gave my tickets to refused to give me my tickets back. But that's a whole other story for another day.
I would have never done anything like that.
I kind of stepped into that one.
But I'm over it. It's totally okay.
Should you be playing your most important football games of the entire year in conditions like we saw in Kansas City and Buffalo?
I mean, listen, this is this is what happens when you have Western New York weather. I mean, it's not that you can basically do about it, but plan around it. But it did make for an interesting audience. It made for an interesting story. And like I said before, it really put the NFL on notice. If I'm in Baltimore or anybody else who's left in this AFC, I have to be afraid of the possibility that I have to go up to Buffalo and deal with that and in the environment going forward. I am concerned about the injuries. We'll get into that later on. But they looked shaken at the beginning of the third quarter and then reassured again in the fourth. I've never seen anything like that.
I mean, weather only becomes a factor if you're the team that doesn't have home field, right? Like, if you want to ensure that you are in a comfortable situation, go win your games. And that's been a problem for Buffalo the last couple of seasons, having to go to Arrowhead in the playoffs and win there. Well, that's not the case this season. If Pittsburgh has a problem playing in those conditions, well, then don't be the 7th seed next season.
Yeah, but if they had a problem, the problem was TJ Watt wasn't there, and they could have used a second or first string quarterback in that game.
Well, it was a good draw, and you wanted to bring up the injury. It was a good draw for Buffalo. It was a good draw for Kansas City, so they're like inevitably meet in this game.
Yeah.
The Bills having 2 fewer practice days, having played Monday, Miami, Saturday, and all these injuries, 5 more starters off the defense.
And Kansas City is not 100% either. I think it was more Miami not prepared to play in those conditions against that team.
Yeah, but KC didn't come out of that game with any new injuries.
No, they didn't. But they didn't come out reassured that they were that dominant team they've been before. And this makes for a big heavyweight fight at home. This is what everybody's really been waiting for. I think it'll be the highest rated game, not because they put it on when they did, but because Taylor Swift will be there as well.
The money line, the Vegas money line, which I always do and never bet.
Mm-hmm. No, because you're not a degenerate gambler anymore, Bill.
Oh, that's right. We made that clear a couple of weeks ago. But this is the only one that's supposed to be close. It's 2.5 points, which means Vegas thinks Kansas City's a slightly better team on a neutral field.
Vegas has been wacky all season, though. I mean, who saw what Green Bay did to Dallas coming, right? You saw what that line was walking in, and they just thumped them. Now, I mean, going back to your question a second ago about the 2 days rest extra that Kansas City had, when they initially moved the game, it was a fear of mine. But the more I think about it, you're this far into the season. Everybody is banged up.
rationalizing it.
I mean, let's be real though.
There's no way it's good.
I remember doing an interview with Fred Jackson a couple of years ago, and he says on a bye week, his body did not feel anywhere close to normal until like 9 days after the game was over. If that's the case, is 2 days that much of a difference when you're a week away from February?
It is that last
2 days
game
plus
on
it's
Sunday.
1 day more than they get when they play a Thursday game, and everyone bitches about that.
Yeah, I mean, but you had a week to an extra day to rest the day before that game anyway. I mean, I look at it this way. It's the last game of the night. It's the biggest game of the night. I can't wait for it. I think they'll be fine. And the fact that it is Kansas City, I think gets you up. You're more anxious the longer you wait for that game.
All right, we're going to get into our picks. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites as the Chiefs invade on Sunday night. Greg Connors is going to join us next here on the Rochester Press Box. Just passing through. Life lessons from notable Rochesterians, people you may think you know. Don Alhart, Maggie Brooks, John Dady, and Stacy Pension, J. Mack and Soccer Sam, Fred Costello, and Jake Zembeck, along with 21 more. How they all got from there to here. It's a new book by Bill Pucko, available for $12 postpaid only from rocksportsnow.com. Try it, and thank you. Our NFL Pick segment in the Rochester Press Box, brought to you by Connors and Ferris, your trusted and dedicated workers' comp attorneys and official sponsor of the Buffalo Bills. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here in the Rochester Press Box. Time for our picks, brought to you by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Greg is here with us. Greg Connors, how you doing? You, at least. It's great to have somebody on the show who went to the game.
I'm fantastic. I mean, it's playoff games. I was there last week, freezing. This week it's going to be cold again. The snow's coming down. Can't wait.
Now, immediately go to the fact that you were probably in a luxury suite, but you did tailgate, you told me.
We did tailgate, and, I'm in the club level, and sometimes, the weather's there. It's cold. We get to hear all the noise. We're part of the Bills Mafia, so it's all good.
Well, I mean, how bad? Again, I have to ask about the weather. Like, what was it like?
It was brutal. I mean,
Okay.
the fans that were actually sitting and standing in the snow, you got to that third quarter and your feet were absolutely freezing.
Every time you bring up a great highlight, Duffy's face just gets a little bit more red.
No, I had a great view of it from my couch watching it on television at home, you son of a...
So, Greg, kick us off the discussion. The line is 2.5. How do you see it?
Yeah, I'm right now coming into the game. The confidence for me with the Bills right now is the offense. I think Josh has got a great command of the offense. I think Brady's doing a good job spreading the ball around, getting a lot of people getting touches. I mean, all the tight ends are touching the ball, which is fantastic. I see the offense performing at a high level. I see the Bills winning this game 31-30, which means the Chiefs are getting 2.5 points. So because of the points, I'm going to have the Chiefs winning with plus 2.5, even though the Bills are going to win the game 31-30.
Okay, the injuries again. How much of it? He's going offense. It makes sense for Buffalo to take this game. They're going to have to score.
Well, the Chiefs' defense has gotten a little bit better each week they played. I mean, it is of a concern, but I'll go back to this one. I'm kind of torn because every time I pick against the Bills, they win. So should I pick against the Bills this week in order to make Duffy feel good? Because the trend continues.
Isn't that why we're all here?
But I'll debate it.
If the Bills go, we don't get to see Greg anymore. If the Bills don't go, if you don't like Greg, you should pick the Bills. You should do that.
No. But I like Greg. I like Greg.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you should pick.
Plus, you saw that Josh Allen run last week.
I'm going to flip this table.
I know you are. So I'm going to go
the
the Buffalo Bills to win this week against Kansas City Chiefs. I say 10.
I think Kansas City is a smart bet because of the injuries and because of the time. But I don't want to put myself in the position where I find myself hoping that the Steelers got a late touchdown so I cover. I hated that.
The backdoor cover?
No. Well, yeah. I was
cover.
looking for that to kind of keep you out of first place. So I said, I'm done with that. I'm picking Buffalo just because I can't stand the pressure.
Okay, a lot of talk about injuries on the defense, and it's valid. I have two names I would like to speak to quell those fears. Balin Spector and A.J. Klein. A.J. Klein comes off the couch, has not played an NFL snap in over a year, and led the team in tackles in a playoff game in Orchard Park. This defense can be played well by anybody. McDermott can coach them up. The scheme is
You
that
love
good.
Coach McDermott.
Look, man, I love his defensive scheming skills. I don't think who is in uniform matters defensively. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. The Bills win, the Bills cover, and they do it by 5 points. I don't know what the score is going to be, but it's a 5-point win for the Bills.
And then Rasul Douglas might show up too. It would be nice to have him back from the injured list. Pick a second game there, Greg.
So the thing I want to follow up on that. The thing I like about AJ, he's got healthy legs. He's got fresh, healthy legs. My concern is Kelsey.
So do I.
What is Kelsey going to do, right? What is Kelsey going to do? The thing is Taylor Swift in the stadium is going to drain all his energy and focus. He's going to drop 3 more balls, and that's how we're going to end up stopping the Chiefs.
Okay.
Second
That's
game
good. We
for
have
me.
a nice scientific breakdown of this game. Pick a second game, Greg.
Second game for me. Bucs going into Detroit. I'm not sure if Detroit's going to keep that magic. Mayfield seems to have that grit, just like Josh Allen does. I'm going with the Bucs to upset the Lions.
Don't give me that face. There is
What do
an
you want?
upset
What do you want?
coming this week. I do believe that there is an upset coming this week, so that's not a bad pick. I will go the 49ers. I think too much from the Green Bay game, too much Jordan Love. I liked what Jordan Love did. I love the fact that he went in there and beat Dallas. Trust me, you can do it as many times as you like. I think it runs out 49ers. Plenty of rest at home. They know they're 1 game away from getting to the Super Bowl.
Greg's is a bad pick. Lions give him 6.5. I'm taking Detroit all day.
Okay. There is going to be an upset this week, and it's going to be Houston in Baltimore. Fun fact.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Lamar Jackson is 1-3, if I'm not mistaken, as the quarterback for the Ravens in the playoffs. He's 1-1 on the road. He is 0-2 at home. And C.J. Stroud does not know what he does not know. The kid's playing with confidence that he doesn't understand. I think we see a Bills-Texans AFC championship in Buffalo next week.
Wow. Like that. I think that's something we'd all get behind. Greg, wrap it up for us.
Bills Mafia, let's show up in Buffalo, and Duffy says he's going to be there.
Oh, yeah, as long as nobody steals my tickets. God, I hate you guys so much.
And we know who took his tickets.
Thanks, Greg. Our pick segment brought to you by Connors of Ferris, like it or not, is next. Here's the Press Box Trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road.
Maybe you've been here before, maybe this is your first time. It's always a great getaway. Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. I'll take you inside the gorge at Watkins Glen. Look for the Getaway Guy on Facebook.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Welcome back. This is the Rochester Press Box, our Like It or Not segment, brought to you by Sport Clips, where the MVP experience is better than ever. Sport Clips is a game changer. No appointments are needed. Stop by a Rochester location today. Duffy. Like it or not, the state of college football, in that the University of Buffalo head coach took an assistant job in Alabama, and not even like a coordinator, like assistant defensive backs coach.
Sure, it sucks, man. These kids getting paid are really going to throw off how these teams are going to be able to perform next year. They should really stop that. Here's what I find interesting about these two things. One, UB got paid out to get rid of a coach that has a 300-something winning percentage to go to Alabama. And I'm with you, man. It is weird to see a coach lose a head coaching gig to serve as an assistant on someone else's staff. But I was also freaked out that someone left Notre Dame as a head coach to go be the head coach at LSU. I don't know what to make of anything anymore. I'm just sick of hypocritical coaches doing what they want while criticizing their players.
But these things used to go the other way. I mean, now I think it's just another indication as to how the divide is in college football, that the new coach at Alabama hired 2 active head coaches from other teams to be his assistants.
And it's so bizarre. I mean, here you are in a national championship game, not thinking to yourself you could possibly be at Alabama. But then again, you're at a national championship game, and then here you are, the great opportunity to beat Alabama, and then you take it. Of course, you're at Buffalo, and you're like, hey, I'm good. I'm a head coach here. Wait a minute. I can be defensive back coach at Alabama.
No, but
like,
hear what you just said.
But he took that job.
But that's the
willingly.
Whole point. But and because you thought it could lead to other networking and coaching opportunities, so that meant that you love the place all the way up to a place where they can possibly network you even higher than when you are right now.
No, but you look at the coach that was at UB before him. He's being mentioned to get all kinds of big jobs right now. He's been wildly successful at Kansas. The reason you took the UB job was to catapult you into a bigger head coaching position. Look, I think the situation is the coach at UB understood one more poor season, he was gone anyway, and then he's got to start to screw over. It was a preemptive strike instead of losing his job knowing what he was going to have to do this year at UB.
I kind of feel like it's all going to work, but college football is a whole new game right now.
But the SEC, I mean, look at all the changes that are going on there. That's the main thing about these conferences. It goes from conference to conference, Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12. It doesn't matter what it is. You want that opportunity to get to a network as quickly as possible that can get you to the next head coaching job.
Our Like It or Not segment brought to you by Sport Clips. Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Time for Unfinished Business, and Pat starts us off.
Taylor Swift came up earlier. She's probably going to be in Orchard Park for this Bills-Chiefs game. And I have to say, I don't understand the anger when it comes to Taylor Swift and everyone hating her being on NFL broadcasts. I will say this. It has made my life more complicated because, as we were talking about, I got my Bills season tickets. And I have one for me, and I have one that I bring a rotating person with. My 13-year-old daughter last week, who doesn't really ever want to go to Bills games, comes to me and she goes, "Hey, Dad, if the Bills win and the Chiefs win, that means Taylor Swift will be in Buffalo." And I go, "Uh-huh." And she goes, "If the Bills win against the Steelers, can I come with you to the game?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And it has caused a big problem in my house. Not that I don't want to spend an afternoon with my daughter, because I love spending time with my girls. The fact that I don't want to walk around the stadium and try and find Taylor Swift like my 13-year-old thinks is actually going to happen. I'm telling you, I know the way she thinks. She thinks she can just walk in a suite where Taylor Swift is, sit down, start eating popcorn, and talking to her. And it ain't going to be a thing. By the way, all the people talking about catching glimpses of Taylor Swift in Orchard Park, you ain't getting near that woman, man. They're going to need the National Guard if they ever take a step even outside a suite into a concourse. I appreciate all of the fun coming with Taylor Swift. I also appreciate all the other moms and dads that are getting their kids involved in watching games with them only because she's there. I do not appreciate me almost having to give up a very precious ticket to a divisional playoff game, Patrick Mahomes first on the road, simply because her butt might be in one of those seats.
Congratulations goes out to Edison Tech grad and current Syracuse basketball star, and will be legendary Syracuse basketball star, Dyaisha. 3,000 career points at Syracuse, an unbelievable mark. A reminder to folks out there who have Section 5 high school boys or girls basketball players in the Rochester area, whether it's Section 5, Section 6, doesn't matter where. If you're listening to this broadcast, hard work pays off. All the work that Dyaisha's family put in, she put in, coaches put in, all resulted in an unbelievable career for Dyaisha. So I applaud her for going out there, staying humble, doing the best that she could, and playing college basketball at the highest level to be the all-time leading point scorer. 15th leading on the list in the NCAA. Not just Syracuse. I'm talking the NCAA. It's an unbelievable accomplishment and a reminder to any high school player out there, hard work does pay off.
It was a week unlike anything we ever saw. 3 football coaching legends found themselves, at least temporarily, out of work. In quick order, Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick were shown the door by Seattle and New England, while down in Alabama, Nick Saban kind of found it on his own. The impact of these 3 moves cannot be overstated. Belichick won 6 professional championships. Saban claimed 7 at the college level. Carroll is one of only 3 coaches to ever win both. They combined for 80 years of head coaching experience and 904 victories. And in a span of less than 24 hours, all 3 were gone. What are we supposed to make of this? Well, to start, all 3, Carroll, Saban, and Belichick, are on the wrong side of 70. Each are, or will soon be, 72 years old. And it's not just a number because, ladies and gentlemen, we have conclusively discovered the actual age of irrelevance. This is somewhat painful because come April, I turn 72.
Who said that?
What am I supposed to make of this? Well, to start, 2024 is my 50th year in broadcasting. A career that began on a Saturday morning in Berlin, New Hampshire on a long-defunct AM radio station queuing up my first record, 45. It was Shining Star by Earth, Wind & Fire, 1975. I miss those days terribly. Now I live vicariously through these two guys who patiently helped me navigate through some of the finer points of surviving in this century. In return, I attempt to add a little perspective about things that they might not otherwise think about. It seems like a fair trade. I hope it is, because relevance is important, and because the wrong side of 70 is a one-way street. That's our unfinished business, and that is our program. Tariq, if you would help me with the walker over there.
Oh, no. You don't need to walk further. You don't look anywhere near. What would you say, 72?
Yeah.
That's not right. Second of all, I understand and can relate. We have more women in our house than men. And as soon as there was a possibility Taylor Swift would be in Buffalo, that was the exact question I was asked.
And you don't think she's going to be there?
I don't know how they're going to get her in and out safely.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Rochester Press Box, and we'll see you again next week.
The only times my wife has interjected with a possibility has been her as a topic. Oh, yeah. His wife's not going to be happy about his wife. Did they get married? What?